Hello.
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hey.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Mr. Money TV live on Thursday night.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Frankie here. Nice to see you guys again.
Yeah, if you can hear
Yeah.
us loud and clear, please type 1 in the comment. Thank you very much. Now, hey, Frankie, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
noticed?
What?
Tonight, the live, we already got 22 people watching now, it
Mm.
says. Yeah, usually when we have other topics, right, not so many people.
Correct.
About in the teens,
In the teens, right?
Yeah,
But
today
maybe
is
give them a bit more time. I think people will start coming in
no,
later.
the point is, I think
Uh,
people are quite interested in the topic work-life balance.
Work-life
Do you think
balance.
so?
Because everybody is trying to chase for this dream, right? Work-life balance. Maybe they're trying to find some inspiration from this podcast tonight.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. When we talk about the whole idea of work-life balance, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Actually.
Wow, a lot of things, man. It's like wow, we need to juggle with so much workload. At the same time, we also have our personal life. There are activities that we want to do. So how do I find time to do both things?
Mm, mm.
Yeah, so it is perhaps something that we will continue to find until the day we retire.
Right. 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 I see. So
Yeah.
then, when's the first time you heard of this work-life balance? Then.
Mm. Uh, Actually, not too long ago.
Mm.
Yeah, I still remember when I started working, nobody talk about work-life balance when it
Really?
is yeah, it is more
Oh.
about like a Gen Y, Gen Z kind of term. When this new wave of people come into workforce, then people start to talk about work-life balance.
Really?
So
Huh?
meaning to say when I was in my late 20s lah, I start to heard about this term.
Oh, so late
Mm.
only you heard about
Yeah,
work-life balance.
maybe 28,
Oh
29
no,
like
I
that.
already heard of work-life balance during uni days.
Oh really?
Oh,
Oh no,
yeah.
I didn't.
Maybe it's a banker thing. Bankers are
Bankers
not
got
that
no
interested.
no no work-life
No,
balance.
because maybe bankers work life itself is quite a lot of life.
Or work life is quite a lot of life.
Yeah, cause
That's one way to put it.
investment banker always bring clients out for entertainment, ma.
Yeah, we see work as life sometimes.
I still remember you brought me clubbing once.
Clubbing is one thing. Like there are also days where we need to stay back and work until 2, 3 o'clock. Go through those Excel spreadsheet and stuff
That's
like
true. That's
that.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Yeah,
So we
maybe.
also need to find balance in
Okay,
that
okay.
manner.
Let's not go
Yeah.
into
So
what
sometimes
other.
we might go relax a bit, lor, right?
Oh, I see, I see. Now,
Hmm.
I want to say one thing, right? So for those of you who can hear us, there's this one guy called Faizul Anwar. Thank you so much. He said driving ni tak boleh type satu.
Oh, tapi you type panjangnya.
So I just wanted to make fun of that, right? But
Right.
thank you very much, Faizul, for actually sharing with us,
Mm.
telling us that you can hear us loud and clear. Now,
Yeah.
tonight, this topic, work-life balance, is
Mm.
something that all of us is really something very close to most of our hearts, I would say.
Mm.
Regardless of whether your philosophy are and so on, um, ultimately, I think it all boils down to this one question, right?
Mm.
How much is enough as well, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
when you talk about work-life balance, what is balance?
Mm.
These are some of those things that is very, very real, right?
Mm.
When I first heard about work-life balance in university, my first thought and concept of it was that you got certain hours that you work, and once you finish your work, you can kind of stop, and then after that you can just go on with life as normal,
Ah,
right?
right.
Yeah, and I think for both of us, because we had very different career in
Mm,
that sense,
mm,
so our version of work-life balance also can be a little bit different.
correct.
Now, I have to say that when I came out and work, I start to notice that there is no such thing as leaving work at 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock and then you're no more working.
Mm,
Yeah, most of the time you are required to continue working despite the fact that it's after work.
mm,
Or either by Friday, your boss will say something like, "Can you send this to me on Monday?"
mm.
Which means that
You
on
need to work
weekend you
through the
actually
weekend.
have to work lah,
Yeah.
right? So then this begs the question, right? What really is work-life balance? Now, I would welcome you guys also to type down in the comment what's your definition of work-life balance.
Mm.
Now, maybe Frankie, you want to start by sharing about your first job,
Yep.
right? How was your first job like? Do you need to take work back home?
Okay.
What do you need to do? How much of it eats into your personal life?
Yeah, I think if you want to find work-life balance in just now Peter's definition, in my work, in my first job, right, you will never achieve it, man. You'll never achieve it. Why? It's because we need to be by office around 7 or 7:30 in the morning. Means we haven't see the sun, we are already in office. That's because we need to have a regional meeting together with different offices around Southeast Asia and sometimes Asia Pac, and all these offices they have different time zone, right? So the most ideal time zone in Malaysia terms is the morning around 7 to 7:30, because that means in Indonesia is 6 to 6:30. They need to wake up even earlier.
Mm,
So morning time no more, right? So 7:30 we start work all the way until evening around 6 to 7 o'clock. So that is my work hour. So a good
mm.
12 hours. After 6 o'clock is traffic jam. Sometimes it can take 2 hours to get home from KL all the way back to
Yep.
PJ, right? 8 o'clock, eat dinner, shower, is almost sleep time already.
Mm.
So yeah, work-life balance is not in the picture. So in my work last time, how do we find work-life balance, quote unquote, would be to find balance within the work.
Okay.
So like one part of it is like just now you mentioned, oh, you would bring clients, go out, entertain a bit. So some people would see that as part of their work. But if you change your mindset a little bit and think that, hey, I also get to enjoy even though it is part of my work, right? I still get to laugh together with my clients. And if I treat the clients as my friend, then I'm going out with my friends. So that's how I have fun and I take those events as part of my life.
Right. Right.
So my work-life balance is that kind of definition.
Right. Right. So it depends on how you define
Yeah, it
work
depends on
life.
how I define. But some people may say that, hey, then that guy is working 24/7, never stop. So yeah, very hard to pinpoint what is life, what is work.
Right, right. Yeah, I find this topic is one that's rather difficult to tackle because
Mm,
it comes down to everyone's personal interest and journey,
mm,
right?
mm.
So over the weekend, I actually did a talk about this,
Yeah.
a panel sharing talking
Mm.
about the myth of work-life balance.
Myth.
Yeah, and they put it up front, myth, right?
Oh.
Why? Because so I did ask them. I said, why do you invite me to talk about work-life balance? I don't think I'm very balanced as far as I'm concerned. See, right now you're probably watching this at home. We are
As
here.
a ledger, but we are in office right
Yeah,
now.
and you know those nights that actually we cancel live is not because we went home and entertained ourselves, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
We have meetings and yeah, stuff like that.
So most of the time we actually work quite late.
Mm,
Now maybe I'll share a little bit about myself when I first started working. How was it like, right?
mm.
I still recall when I first started working that time in corporate job. It was definitely they say 9 to 5, but because you
Oh, no
need to
such
take
thing,
the
man.
LRT, right?
Yeah,
You are
yeah.
supposed to arrive at work by 9. It means that you wake up at about 7.
Yep.
You get there, and then by the time you get home, you're talking about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and you're gonna rest, right?
Mm,
Now, and what happens is the next day you're gonna wake up again at about 7 o'clock. So basically every day is just gonna be like that. But because when you're in your 20s, the body clock was much more stronger. You can still go enjoy yourself, drink with friends,
mm,
come back the next day. You still, no problem, right? Sleep at 4 o'clock. By the time you hit about 30, you start to feel the effects.
mm.
By the time you hit 35, then oh my god, your brain thinks that you're young, but your body don't think so. When you wake up, your body disagree with you. Do you have this thing when nowadays when you wake up, your body kind of like a bit harder?
Yeah. Actually, since day one, I started work until today, it's still like that. Lah.
Right.
I have to force myself to wake up.
Right. I
Yeah.
have this thing like when I wake up, right, my back is like very, very keras, right? You need to like twist
Oh,
it a
crack,
little
crack, crack,
bit.
crack, crack, crack,
Ah,
crack,
the
crack,
kind of
then
thing,
you wake
right?
up.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it just becomes longer and longer, right? Now then after a while, I decided that this is not the kind of life that I want. The main reason being is, um, I don't mean to talk bad about corporate, or I mean we are a company, right? So we are also corporate actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lor.
Yeah. I think that I really dislike the fact that you spend most of your time in the office politicking,
Mm.
thinking, spending more time designing how to reply an email so that you don't offend people
Mm.
than actually really working on something. You
Mm.
get what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And the truth is that when you want to do work, you actually have to go home and do. Because most of the time you're in the office, you
Oh.
need to make sure that your boss like you. You need to make sure that every reply of email that you make is going to make someone happy.
Right.
You need to devise ideas of how to beat the politics to stand out, all
Oh.
this kind of nonsense, right?
Yep.
Then you really do work when you go home.
Right.
And remember the other day I was telling you I talked to a friend who's actually already in the higher level of management today.
Mm-hmm.
They say that generally, yeah, that is corporate life, right? At this point. And I feel
Yeah.
that for me, that's something that I cannot accept. So what happened is that I decided to quit and then I went and become a insurance agent, right?
Mm.
And as an insurance agent, I get to control my time. And you thought that you can have more time with your family, but that's not true. Because then
I think
every
it's worse,
moment,
right? It's
yeah,
worse.
cause every hour,
Correct.
it's either you're gonna make money or either you're not gonna make money. You get to decide now. Suddenly,
Correct.
it's not like working, right?
Mm.
Like whether am I gonna really work or not, I'm still gonna get paid this salary.
Yep.
I can probably lie about it for 6 months and don't get caught, or
Yeah.
as long as I can.
But you still get 6 months salary, lah.
That's right. Yeah, but when you are doing your own business, every moment your eye is open, it's a decision to say whether am I going to make money or not make money. So I feel that only at that point onwards, I really get to control what's work-life balance. Yeah, that's how I felt lah. Yeah.
So what was your balance? So then even harder to get work-life balance, right? At least you're in corporate, you have 9 to 5. So if you really die want to have that stern definition of work-life balance, then you tell yourself by 5 o'clock, I don't work anymore. I don't care. But now you come out, you become insurance agent. There's no such thing already, right? When you stop, then your money also stop.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that time I did think about this, and the other logic that I came up with this, imagine right, tomorrow you're working in a company lah, right? Suddenly I feel like I'm very discouraging our own stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many people in front of us.
Yeah, in front of us, right? Our stuff, right? Yeah. I was saying that I was telling people this, right? Imagine if today you're a CEO, right, of a big corporate. If you say that I want to slow down, I don't want to work anymore, do you think you can still be a CEO?
If you already plan nicely, then maybe you still can.
Yeah.
But your mind still won't stop one. You will still continue to think like
Right.
how do I make the next step?
Right.
How do I translate
And
it down?
chances are, if you're not aggressive enough, then you won't be a CEO lah. Simple as that lah. Maybe
correct.
they'll transfer you to another place, do other
Yeah.
things lah, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that's the whole idea behind. And I've seen so many people who actually left their job when they hit about 40 plus, 50 plus, and then they say that I want to spend more time with family. In fact, the other day I met another friend. She became a CMO, chief marketing officer, and she told me for that 2-3 years doing that, it was so stressful. She in the end she left the company, give herself a sabbatical, and then she took another new role. This time, not a CMO anymore, but one level down. Cause she said,
That's
at least
a
I
good
got
choice.
life, right?
That's a good
At least I
choice.
got life,
Yeah.
right? So then my point is this, right? I think that when you're working for people or whether it be yourself, you have to decide when is enough. And that is, and I feel to a big extent, work-life balance can only be achieved when you have somewhat of a control. And that control, if you are entrepreneur, you get to choose to a certain extent. Or either if you're working for people, you are working with a great team who is able to work with you in that manner, right? So that's why the way that we design our team until today uh, we put in a lot of interesting things, right? Like for example, every 3 years you get sabbatical.
Yeah.
We have this policy where like if they finish work early and they
Yeah, they
leave,
can go back.
you can go back. You
Correct.
don't have to be worried that we'll say that you're so
We are
fast. I give you more
lazy.
job.
Yeah.
In fact, when we have that conversation, you can tell us, I want work-life balance. I don't want to work so much,
Mm.
right? So
Yeah.
that's a big part of the reason why we actually have all these kind of things in our work.
Mm.
Yeah. So by the way, we are hiring. If you wanna submit, resume, please
Correct. Hey,
send it
maybe we
over.
should put up an email so that they know
Yeah. If you're
where to
wondering
send.
what role, I have to say that we are always open to hire great people. Yeah. So if you culturally fit and we think you are a great person, we may actually just find you a role here.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Correct.
Anyway,
Yep.
move on beyond that. So that kind of built a solid for me lah. That kind of built that foundation of how I started practically approaching
Mm.
work-life balance, which is the first thing. I want to have control over my life and my
Mm-hmm.
work.
Okay.
When I have that, then only I talk about next step, how to balance it. Yeah. So for yourself, right, when you approach work-life balance, what was your philosophy?
My philosophy is very simple. I don't want to keep my mind thinking about work 24/7 because that is very unhealthy and I think I'll go crazy. So, but at the same time, it's very hard for me to do that for my job because, because I was in stock market, right? So technically speaking, 9 to 5 is Malaysia market, and then 3:30, 4 o'clock to 9, 10 o'clock is Europe market, and then from 9, 10 o'clock all the way to the next day 3, 4 a.m. is US market. So technically, it's 24 hours. So if I keep my mind like that, right, I will die one. I will die. So how I do it is I will tell myself how to split my time to think about work and what is the time that I don't think about work. So just to give you an example, so my work stops around 6, 7 o'clock, right? So I tell myself, even though 6 to 7 o'clock, that's the best time to keep myself updated on what is going to happen in the Western country, but I'm not going to look at the market. I'm going to just go to the gym or go and have dinner and whatnot. But that means once I come back from my leisure time, I'll need to catch up even faster than people who have sat down at their desk and read up, right? So I need to balance in terms of how fast I need to catch up and what are the strategy to catch up with other people so I don't be left behind.
Mm,
So we need to plan, no? Plan a time, no? Okay, so if I want to have more hours for myself, meaning I need to speed up at certain hours of my day, and how am I going to do that? What are the tools that I can use to help me to achieve that?
mm.
So if I can do that, then fantastic. Then I can find other things to do.
Right. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go into the more practical side of things, right? And then
Mm.
after that, we are gonna go into talk about like how do we define really define work-life balance?
Yeah.
What's the definition of it really means to us? What are some of the struggle and challenges in applying work-life balance, right? Now, and so let's start with this thing. What is a day in your life or a week in your life like right now?
Mm.
And where do you find balance,
Mm.
if there is balance?
Right.
Or there's no balance. Yeah, you can also share that.
Now actually I find it harder to find a balance. Okay, while I was working, I have a very set target of I need to go to gym 3 times a week. These days that 3 times is becoming lesser and lesser and lesser, and it is being replaced by more meetings and then more outings and things like that. I will still try to make it, but a lot of weeks I fail lah. But now my new strategy is I buy a little bit those small equipments that you can buy from Decathlon and whatnot. So whenever I have my rest time and I just blindly looking at the TV running itself, then I'll do some simple exercise there lor. So at least I can replace some of the hours in the gym. So that's how I do it right now. But yeah, now more hours on work actually.
Mm.
So I would say I have less balance and skewed more towards work these days.
So how's a day like for you? Like, can you describe to us like what's a usual day like in your life, so the audience can understand what kind of
Okay.
life you live lah.
Okay. Oh, so now go into my daily schedule lah.
Yeah. Your daily
Okay.
schedule.
So FAQ channel has a Telegram group called the FAQ group on Telegram. So every morning I'll give them an update at 7:30, 8 o'clock. meaning I need to wake up about 1 hour earlier, read up, which is already my daily routine since I started work. So it's fine for me. That's my routine anyway. So once I give that updates on Telegram already, then I will wake my children up. Hey, go to school or help them brush teeth and whatnot. And then I'll send them to school. After I send them to school, have breakfast, then straight away I come to office already. By the time it's already 9, 10 o'clock. Yeah, then we just have meetings, shoot videos, prepare content, meet clients, that kind of stuff. The usual things that we do. Yeah, so that basically takes up most of the time. Now, then after that evening, school also over. I need to rush to pick up my children. And because we don't cook, so we need to go to my parents' house for dinner. So by the time we finish dinner, come back, it's already 9 o'clock, sometimes even 10 o'clock. Then help them prepare for the next day. They go to bed. That's the time where I blankly look at the TV screen. Sometimes I find something to watch. Sometimes I do my exercise and all that. Then just call it a day already.
Right.
That's basically
right.
my whole day.
Then your weekend?
Oh, my weekend is worse. We should just straight away jump into weekend and talk about weekdays.
Yeah, let's go.
Right?
I was
Okay.
gonna talk about weekday and weekend.
Okay, so
Yeah.
weekday I have this kind of set schedule, so it's fine. I'm a man of what do you call that?
Timetable.
Timetable. So I just follow the timetable. Now weekend Saturday I have zero time for myself because by the time I wake up, the kids got ballet. After ballet, they have math class, they have right brain training, they have swimming class, they have all sort of things. So by the time I manage to sit down on the chair and think about life, it's probably dinner time already. So that's my Saturday. Sunday, repeat.
Huh? So many classes, man?
There are so many classes.
How many classes your children go away?
Yeah. So now me and my wife, what we're trying to do is try to cut as much as possible
Wait,
on
wait.
Sunday.
How many classes your children got?
Ballet is 2 times a week, Saturday and Sunday.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because especially during exam time, then teacher will add more classes.
Wow.
Yeah, and then they have right brain class. They have drawing
Swimming
class. They have
drawing
swimming class. Basically, whatever activities.
Well, your
that they
children
want to
also
go.
got no work-life balance.
Oh no, they feel very balanced. You know why? Because every class that I send them to is they choose one, and
Oh.
before they go to those classes, I give them a very strict warning and say, if you start this, there's a certain milestone you need to hit before you can stop. You want to go through that or not?
Then how's that life? That's work.
No, they are very happy. They always look forward to weekends one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, can.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So my stress, but they are happy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then Sunday also they have full day.
Sunday we're trying to cut. So now my Sunday ends. So the hectic timing ends around lunchtime. So it's okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So afternoon
okay.
I'm free. Sunday afternoon I'm free.
Okay.
And I plan to keep it that way. So now I
Wow,
tell my
wow.
children, no more classes.
Wow.
It's my time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my weekday is basically I wake up at so I got two type of weekday now.
Two types of weekday.
Two type of weekday.
Uh,
My first type of weekday is no golf day. Yeah.
Okay.
So no golf day is most of the days lah. Yeah.
How can you play golf every day, right? Your skin
correct,
would
correct.
be
Most of the day.
Yeah.
Huh? So it will be I wake up at 7 o'clock, send my kid to prepare my kids, send my kid to school. By the time I come to office, it's 8:30 or 9, right? So that's why I arrive about the same time.
Yes.
I always go and pick up my coffee, or I'll make a quick coffee in the office.
Yeah.
Then either I spend half an hour reading, or either it starts with meetings, and then after that it's just meeting, preparing work, meeting, preparing work, going out.
Yeah. Going
Stuff
out,
like that.
meeting, come
Step
back,
back.
meeting. Yeah.
Now, most of the time, I have been saying that I want to go home for dinner, but it's been the past 2 weeks that I haven't been back for dinner, which means I stay in the office all the way until about 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Then I go home.
Mm.
When I go home, my wife is probably half asleep, or either she's still available. Then we have a chat. I get to kiss my kids good night, but yeah, if they're fully asleep, then no. Yesterday was one of those days that I managed to head home 8:30. Then I get to say hi to them before they sleep. Okay. Then golf day will be basically half day in the morning. I go play golf. Yeah, so I'll wake up 6 o'clock, go play golf, come back.
Don't
to
need to
office.
fetch children to school.
Then my wife will fetch.
Oh, nice.
Then after that, I will come back to office at about 2 o'clock. Join you all for lunch. Then after it's again all the way until night, right? Uh, it used to be, remember, like I didn't even have time for that. Then nowadays I really block my time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I start to have that. But again, it's not always I get to go lah, right? If not, you really have no time. Cause for me, then Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Saturday will be in the morning. If there's no events, no speaking engagement, which happen to me quite often. If there's events, generally my whole Saturday is gone. If there's none, until 12 o'clock, it's my kids' classes. Then I'll go with my wife and my kids. Then I'll spend some time with her. After that, then we get to spend time together. Sunday we go church. After church, we will have some time ourselves
Mm.
with my wife again and with the family lah. So for me, that is my current life. Again, but usually you're also sitting down there doing some work, scripting or whatnot lah, sometimes Sunday,
Mm.
right? So that's pretty much for me at this point. So I think for me, there is a little bit more balance these days. Yeah. And it has to be a discipline to balance now. So then let's move on, right? Because our life looks so different right now by
Mm.
the looks of it.
Mm.
Mm. So how do you define work-life balance for yourself?
I feel if you really like the things that you do, right, it naturally becomes a balance really. Yeah. Because like for example, last time when I was in banking, memang I like the markets. So to me, I actually look forward to going to work. In fact, during public holiday, I feel very sad when
Mm.
one day less to make money. That kind of
Right,
mentality.
right.
So I actually look forward to it. So to me, work-life balance is something that I get naturally. Right here, there's a lot of meetings. Sometimes work until really late and all that. But then you motivate yourself again, right? The whatever effort that we are putting in together, right? It will be fruitful one day later,
Mm.
right? And we look forward to that day, and
Mm.
that day looks clearer and clearer by the day. So it's fun in that sense. So yeah, then sometimes we are brainwashing ourselves lah, right? Okay lah, we delay gratification. We work harder now. Maybe one day down in the future we will have more leisure time. But so now for the time being, what I can do is really just to find a little fun within that hectic day, to keep ourselves motivated and energize ourselves. And then at the same time, yeah, lor, try to be disciplined enough to carve out certain times. Like the day I met you at the gym, that was an effort to cut out some time and say, hey, let's
Mm.
let's go to the gym and just sweat it out, right?
Mm.
Mm.
We didn't plan to go to gym together, by
Correct,
the way.
correct, correct. We just
We
bump
just
into each
bump into
other.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like you invited me to sweat together. So yeah, but for me, work-life balance is it's very important to get the definition,
Mm.
which is, in my opinion, it is not a 9 to 5. It is not a like 8 hours work, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours entertainment.
I don't think I can do that.
I don't think it's achievable,
Uh.
and I don't think it's realistic.
Mm.
Yeah. Now, people may disagree with me, but I don't think it is. Why do I say that, right? Is because I think if you look at anyone, right, who is who is exceptionally good at what they do, great people, right? Let's say Mozart, or even like say whoever that you admire, lah. Do you think they have work-life balance? So a great musician need to practice more than 8 hours a day.
Mm.
How's that balance? Someone like Elon Musk, how's that balance? Warren
Mm.
Buffett, how's that balance? Right? Now, so if your definition is by the hours, then I don't think you'll ever find balance if you want to be good at something.
Mm.
Now, unless you want to be mediocre, or either you're extremely talented, that's another story.
Mm.
Right? Now, but it's not wrong being mediocre, yeah? Not wrong.
Mm.
And some companies allow that kind of it's like that, and they generally just hire people who are highly effective so that they can finish work in time,
Mm.
which I've met, right?
Mm.
Unfortunately, I think many of the people are not.
Mm.
Now, then it comes down to the next thing, right? Which is then how do we define balance then? So for me, balance is seasonal and it
Oh.
evolves.
Oh.
So what do I mean, right? Last time I got no kids.
Right.
I wasn't even married. It was about leveling up my skill set as a human being and as a effective worker, So a lot of the time will be put into making yourself better. So then when now I have kids, I'm starting to shift towards making, like, even at work, I'm doing less execution these days. It's more about thinking.
Mm.
So the need to carve out space to allow myself to think is very important. That's why I block the time for golfing, for more personal time and so on, because so that I can make effective decision when I'm needed to. So every time you notice I come back from rest, I will bug you all with new problems, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Come, everybody come.
Yeah, I see this issue. I think this.
Then take out marker pen, draw.
So you think, if let's say you think about it, right? If I came back and there's no change on, will you start to feel like something is wrong? I mean, in a way, right? Like then you're spending so much time resting. You're not doing what's needed to be done, right? Now, but did I get a good rest to actually think? I did as well to a certain extent. Now, my point is this, right? I think when you imagine balance in life, right? We often think of it as a state. A state as in is a fixed thing where there's that balance.
8 hours here, 8 hours
here,
there.
8 hours here, right?
That is balance.
That's called balance. And it doesn't move. But if you think about it, right, when you put the balance on a scale, how does it work? It generally swings, right? So it is always counteracting one another at any point in time. It is never, once you put, boom, straight away go into the right place. It always counteracts and it always moves. So there's a movement. And then you try to put this scale on a car, let's say. You will realize that when the car is going straight, probably it can stay moving this way. But when the car turns right, suddenly it may switch more like that, then switch more the other way around. So you try to think about a gyroscope, like a stabilizer, like camera stabilizer, right? It's actually weights counteracting one another to keep the level there, which means that sometimes there will be more of this, sometimes there will be more of that. So the weight is just distributed in order to help you to achieve a particular goal. And so that's how I like to view a balance as. I think balance can only exist if you have a goal in life as well. If you have no goal in life, you just want to cruise through your life, you're going through the motion. Usually people end up depressed. Yeah, I mean, think about it, right? They're quite balanced, right?
Depressed people?
No, I'm not saying depressed people are balanced. I'm saying that, like, there are a lot of people who actually really nothing to do. You like during COVID time, you think about it. COVID is quite balanced, right? There are many people who actually got into depression, not because no money, They actually were quite.
Correct.
Quite,
so much time at home and do nothing.
You get what I mean? Then suddenly you also get into this weird state, right? Yeah. So my point is that I think balance can only happen, a healthy balance, in my opinion, in my limited viewpoint. A healthy balance can only happen when you have a direction that you're going for and you are just placing each element in your life as a counter balance to another part. So sometimes when you are in your, say, early phase as a career, you may spend more time to build that tenacity or that skill set. Then when you're moving up to the management level, you may spend more time at home and then do more thinking, right? So I think that is the idea about it. And same as a parent, we actually experience that, right? When's the last time we go and hang out with our friends? I mean, I see you every day, but aside from because we are working together.
No leh.
No, right?
Got that night with at section 17.
Yeah, but super long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, super long ones. So, and are you happy?
I never think about that.
You never think about that, right?
Yeah.
Means you're contented. Despite the fact not meeting your friends, you're contented because somewhere, like for me, it's because I enjoy my work, and then whatever extra time I have, I wish I can spend more of it with my family. And I get to do those two things. I'm pretty much satisfied with life. And that for me is quite balanced in that sense. Do I yearn for more free time? Yeah, I do. I do wish that I have a lot of money and then I can just go holiday every day. But
okay, let's
that's not right.
Let's make this scale a bit more complicated. Okay, so we are talking about this thing going left and right, and then there's this weight there trying to balance it. Now let's introduce one more element into this scale, which is money. Okay. Why people go to work is because they need money, right? But if they cannot get enough money, means they need to do more work. As they do more work, then it needs to take away more free time. That is where the imbalance comes in, right? So in this manner, is it still possible to achieve work-life balance or not? In that sense,
So
yeah.
if not enough money, can
If
we
not
have
enough money, how or is it even possible to try to get to this work-life balance state of mind? Let's call it state of mind, but not the 8 hours kind of balance.
okay. So my personal thought is no money is already not balanced. But depending on what's the definition, right? If your definition of no money is that you can't fly private jet, then
I can't help
yeah.
lah.
So what's the definition of no money? Is it I do not have enough, or do I have enough?
Mm,
Enough as in I have 3 meals a day. I can enjoy occasional entertainment. Uh, I'm pretty much satisfied. Yeah, so that
contented.
number, right?
Mm,
Like for example, we were having a conversation with Chen Chao the other day, right? So his his level of money is enough is extremely low.
yeah.
For me, that number is about say 20,000 a month.
Mm.
Yeah. For you, it could be a
Around
different
there
number.
as well.
Yeah.
Around there as well
I
with
have
kids.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy, I think very low. Right? I think
Damn low, damn low.
10,000. I think he enough already.
Well, I think
I think
5K.
more than that.
I think 5K also you can
Yeah,
settle.
Friday,
already.
yeah, because he stay in the smallest room and
Yeah.
with
And
small aircon.
yeah, he
right?
just he was talking about aircon $30. He's very happy,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Anyway, that's that. We did an interview with him. You guys can check it out when it's gonna come out. Yeah, it's gonna be a series of CEO interviews, lah. Anyway, okay, no. So I would say, on the other hand, that when number one, you gotta define what's enough, what's enough. But number two, right, you need to go to the state where you talked about that
Yeah.
is enough.
Correct.
So no one go into workforce straight away have 20K on it.
Mm.
So there will be a period when you work towards that the time, there won't be
Yeah.
that kind of so-called balance.
So bulat is the mind. Everything is playing in the mind.
Yeah.
Right. How do you find that balance in the mind?
Yeah. So if your current state is supposed to be working towards 20,000, then that balance will not be 15 hours sitting at home, right?
Then 20,000 won't come.
Then 20,000 won't come up,
Uh-huh.
right? Yeah. So that's my thoughts about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. What about yourself?
Yeah, because it is a skill that moves left and right? And then if your objective is 20,000, meaning to say you need to turn to one direction, then obviously the whole car has to turn lah. If the car doesn't turn, then all you can do is just like that lor. Right?
Yeah.
Just look at it. Okay,
Yeah,
pass already.
Correct. The car have to turn. Correct, right? Yeah.
So but turn already, then you come back to that straight direction, then you're balanced again.
Okay. Now, so I think we have defined it quite enough. We have talked about ourselves. How do we see it? Let's talk about practically, right? What are some of the main considerations for you when it comes to planning a life, a work-life balance kind of life? Like when you build this thing, right? I'm sure that there are certain things that is non-negotiable for you that has to be there. Certain things are negotiable. What would that
Right.
be?
Non-negotiable is definitely family lah, especially the kids.
Time with kids.
Correct. Like just now I just shared with you the session that I have with my children's teacher, right? So that got me heated up a little bit. But yeah, it got me thinking that maybe I should spend even more time with my kids going through their homework and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that one is non-negotiable. I need to make sure the kids is okay. What is negotiable and I have been giving in is my gym time. Like I've been doing 3 days gym week for like close to 10 years. And then since now over here, and that 3 days has been slowly getting shorter and shorter. Yeah, but that one is negotiable because I can still find other times to compensate with it.
Right. Right. Yeah, I have to say that Frankie is very good in keeping his time with his kids.
Sometimes it's also because of schedule. It's not I want one. If like school ends at 6, I cannot let her wait until 7 o'clock and fetch her.
Correct.
So sometimes it's by design.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, I'm not so. For me, yeah, that hasn't.
You wait next year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Next
Maybe,
year.
maybe.
School ends 6 o'clock, brother.
No, my wife fetches the kid,
Oh,
so that's why I don't
okay.
need fetch the
Okay,
kid.
okay, okay. I
Cause
have to, so
yeah, cause my wife fetch the kid,
mm,
so then people can squeeze a lot of time for meeting for me.
right.
Yeah, and
Right.
so end of the day, I end up going meetings.
Mm, okay. I can't.
So
So
maybe I should tell my wife I fetch the
you
kid.
fetch the kids.
Then I'll do homework with my kids, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that's the thing. So for me, non-negotiable will be Sunday.
Mm,
That's for me. Sunday is a non-negotiable. I would say that 90 to 99% of the time, if there's a work, no matter how much, I try not to do,
mm,
right? Uh, Especially nowadays, like, I really, really try to reject if let's
mm.
say it's on Sunday.
Sunday.
Saturday, for me, it is still okay.
Depends on
Yeah,
price.
depend on price. Yeah, yeah. Then one day
Mm,
where I go away and just play golf, or even if I don't play golf, right,
mm,
I'll just go away.
mm.
I'll just disappear. I'll go in the cafe
By yourself?
by myself,
Oh wow.
spend time with my wife, have some breakfast. I don't care
Uh-huh.
lah. Just cause for me, why is that a non-negotiable? I mean, family no need to talk about it, right?
Mm,
Yeah. Is the bigger our organization grow, I notice that big importance of me being alert and not tired
mm,
mentally,
mm.
so that I can make decision. Because generally, whenever it comes to me to make decision, right?
Critical.
Yeah, it's quite critical,
Mm,
and I got no one to blame on.
mm,
It's like you made a decision. I can never say someone else give me a wrong information.
mm,
I can never say there's no one for me to fall back on. It's just me making a decision.
mm,
So there is that strong need to stay alert. Therefore, I make sure that every week I will have at least a couple of hours that I can spend time myself. Yeah. So that's for me.
mm.
Yeah.
So Saturday, Sunday is your non-negotiable lah.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, it's still more block. Yeah.
Mm,
Because I find that weekdays I still need to tend to stay back and do quite a lot of work.
mm.
Yeah. So that's for me lah.
Okay.
Yeah. And now, so those are sort of things. But what are some of the challenges that you face when it comes to applying work-life balance into
Risk
your schedule?
cannot say it's risk
No, it's not a challenge.
or challenge. Challenge is always time lah. When you have 24 hours, you wish you have 48 hours, right? But it really comes down to how to do time management properly.
Mm.
Easy to say lah, right? But sometimes it's like you have ad hoc meeting, right? Like something happened already, then it's like, hey, come, let's hop on a call and settle this straight away. Then you'll be thinking like, hey, yeah, but this time I already planned to do something else already. So most of the time is that kind of challenge, right?
Mm.
Like you plan for something, but something happened.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Then it screw up all your schedule, and then you need to replan the whole thing after that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So that's the main challenge.
That's right. I think for us as well, there's an extra consideration these days as a business owner
Mm-hmm.
is the choices we make and how will it affect others. Do you notice like you can say all the work-life balance you want, right?
Mm.
But you got a bunch of stuff waiting for you to give them salary and career progression.
Yeah. This is what my ex-boss used to say. While I'm the one hire you, I'm also fully aware that behind you, I know there are maybe 3-4 mouths to feed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one decision can affect many one.
Correct.
If you bring it to the country level, whatever the prime minister make the decision, right, is going to affect, in Malaysia context, is 30 million people.
Correct.
Yeah. So he needs to be very clear
Correct.
in terms of what he wants to say.
So sometimes, right, I feel like another struggle for us as a business owner is we can say that, yeah, I'm quite enough with this amount, but you got a bunch of stuff.
Mm.
How? If the less we earn, the less they can progress in their career.
Mm.
So where do we stop? Where do we say that the company is not going to grow? By the time you hit this, bye-bye. Do we say that?
No, I think actually most of the planning that we make is mostly for the people that work with
Correct.
us.
So
It's
then
not
you
so
think,
much
right?
for us.
A lot of the like late nights that we have to stay up,
Mm,
it is so that we can give
correct.
everyone a career progression to a
Correct,
certain
correct,
extent.
correct.
Right?
Because we feel responsible for them also, man. Takkan they come in 2 months later, oh, bye bye, like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
then how, you know?
Yeah, my company is just happy doing this much, you know. So
Correct.
your role this is the progress that you're gonna get in your
Yeah.
life Yeah.
Mm,
So I'm not saying that we are very good people. No, definitely there's a big part of it is also personal satisfaction, and we get a big share out of it as well and stuff like that. But yeah, I
mm,
mean, you think about it, right? If we just slow down our life, we're gonna be pretty wealthy.
mm.
Yeah, we're gonna be quite enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I think that is a conversation for another day
Yeah.
where I think it's gonna be much more exciting. This one.
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
You know, things like I purposely pay the employees more, but of course with productivity, but that challenge us to also want to do more.
Correct.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, things like that.
So basically, there are all these kind of different kind of consideration. But I
Mm,
would say that compared to last time being an employee and today being a business owner,
mm,
the kind of work life balance is very different. So I went through that phase where I was a staff, right, working for a company. Then I became a sole proprietor where I was selling insurance and unit trusts, being a financial planner. You're more like working for yourself, right?
mm,
So there's no mouths for you to feed other than your family.
mm,
You just work as long as you want and then earn as much, go into your pocket. Then after that, today it is we have 18 people in the company,
mm,
right? So I think for me now this is another level of work life balance again.
mm.
Yeah, another level of juggling again. Yeah. What about yourself? Anything to recap on that?
I think whatever you said is spot on. We are at a different level of work-life balance. Maybe for those of you who are at managerial level, you can also share with us what is your work-life balance when you have like a bunch of people that you need to manage. At the same time, well, wait, if you're at the managerial level, worse. You have a bunch of people down there that you need to manage. You also have a bunch of people up there you need to manage.
That's right. I feel
Ah,
like we are not so bad.
correct, correct, correct. I feel the middle one is worse.
I feel like the middle one is worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
suddenly struck my mind.
That's why you better make sure you got a good boss.
Correct.
Like really one.
Correct, correct.
Yeah, like I was saying, right? Those few people that I met
Mm,
and I came back and I was telling you all that like I don't want our company to be like that.
yeah.
Can you imagine the whole day they are just spending politicking.
Yep.
Only at night they can do their work
Mm,
and they have to still deliver on you.
mm,
Walao, I feel like kill myself, man, if I'm in that position.
mm,
Yeah. So anyway, that's whole different level. Nonetheless, how much money for you is enough? How do you come to a point and say this is enough?
I think my retirement goal is 10 million minimum
Cash.
cash.
Okay.
10 million cash.
You and your wife together lah.
Household cash 10 million. I think one day if I hit that 10 million, I would probably slow down quite significantly.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel because with 10
Does that
million I
include
can
EPF?
compound. Cash.
EPF
EPF
is
is
not
not
cash, meh?
cash. I haven't retired. I'm not 60 years old yet. So I got no cash.
Oh, okay.
So if I hit 10 million tomorrow, then I will slow down significantly tomorrow. I will
Right.
use 2 hours to write one email. But because I don't have, so
Okay.
now I use 5 minutes to write one email.
Let's make sure we don't give you 10 million in the near future, huh?
Yeah.
So for me that number would be about there as well.
10 million.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. For me that number would be about there as well, 10
Mm,
million household. Yeah, cash.
cash.
That's right.
But my problem is I don't like to see cash. So whenever I see cash, I'll try to put it somewhere. Then I'll tell myself, got no cash.
So for me cash is just liquid asset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It can be in the form of a stock, it can be in the form of EPF.
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay, then maybe I'm more gung ho.
yeah, I think you're more gung ho than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think it will ever happen.
Yeah, because I don't see cash.
Because whenever you got cash, you will put
I'll
every
put it
single dollar into
yeah,
investment.
correct.
Yeah, so I don't think that will ever happen. So means it's never enough.
Oh, that's bad.
At least I'm more realistic, right?
Yeah, that's bad. Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, I think there are quite a lot of questions there.
Yeah.
Let us
Okay.
go into those questions.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, feel free to ask us any questions. Yeah, I know when two dudes are talking about work-life balance, definitely is not as cheeky as us talking about stocks and everything, right?
Mm.
Yeah, so we're trying to be more reflective with life and stuff like that. Yeah, and yeah, so if you like this kind of topic,
Mm.
again, write down there in the comment and let us know, right? Okay, let's take some questions. Is 8 hours of work, 8 hours of fun, 8 hours of sleep concept a scam? My personal belief, yes, it is. It is not really a scam lah. It is just certain people's definition, and then we take it as like, oh, that's the way to go. That's
Mm.
why I think work-life balance is a very personal definition. Yeah,
Mm.
everyone got their own definition of work-life balance.
Mm.
And the question is that does work-life balance really will make you happy?
Mm.
I mean, you ask LeBron James, right? Or you ask Michael Jordan, does work-life balance is really what he wants?
But
He just
his
want to be
work,
the best basketball
correct.
player, right?
Yeah,
So that's
correct.
that's not a point, you know. So
Mm.
work-life balance could be someone else's goal, but it may not be your goal. So I wouldn't say it's scam. I think you just have to ask yourself, right? What do you really want? Mm. Now, what's another question that you wanna pick out?
When your wife supports your career choice, congrats, you hit the jackpot. It's important that your spouse supports you so that you can go further. That's
Hmm.
very true.
How important do you think it is that how important is the role of your spouse in terms of work and life?
95%.
Well, 95. I would say
Huh.
99, man. Where's your 5%?
The other 5% is I would like to think that I have control of the 5%. Give me a bit of
Oh,
percentage
okay.
lah.
So think any other thing.
Uh,
Oh, so it's a lie, lah. It's a lie.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Okay,
it's
that's
true.
true. True.
Uh,
I personally think that a spouse is extremely important.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I
I mean,
think choosing the right.
I wouldn't come out if my spouse thinks that I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think anyone out there, if you're single, please type S in the comment. And I have to tell you this one thing. Please be very careful in the choice of your spouse. Yeah. Please be very, very careful and choose the right person. I think it's extremely important.
Mm.
Now, but will you ever know that this is the right person? The answer is again, we also don't know how to give you an assessment that this is the right person because we also don't know. Somehow it's also somewhat of a semi gamble with some
Yeah.
very good amount of confidence, but gambling at the same time, right? So a gamble is in like you do not know what's surely gonna turn out, but somehow it's just like that, and then you just gotta commit, right?
Wait.
But that's a different topic another day again.
Correct. Correct. But I think if it's true love, then you will find the answer. If it is just conveniently together one, that one got big problem. That one got big problem because
Okay,
they
okay.
would be thinking about their own benefit more than as one,
Maybe I should
as a whole.
interview my wife, right, and get my wife to talk
Yeah,
about
can.
how we got married in just 3 months, right?
Correct. You should.
Yeah, I think I should do a video of it.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Should I reconsider my job if my current job requires me to stay up late at midnight to work as well as frequent OT works?
Is it a requirement or is it
No,
you?
should I reconsider my job if I need to keep working until midnight or frequent OT?
Is it because you are efficient or not efficient? That's why you have to work until OT first.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe Jason Ling can give us more
Mm.
context.
I think that the better question that I'll reframe it is, are you getting enough management support and do you feel that you are growing in the career?
Mm.
If let's say the reason you are doing OT and overwork is because you are set on a pathway of growth and you're very well aware that you're voluntarily doing it
Mm.
for because there's something that you look forward to, then
Yep.
for me I don't think it's a problem.
Yep.
But if let's say it is because there's always lack of staff because the management just clearly do not have the commitment to help you to solve this problem, then I think the one is a management problem, please leave.
Yeah.
But if let's say it is like the management is really trying to find people but they're still struggling, and then you need to ask yourself, are you able to tahan for a few months or whatnot? So I think this one all comes down to negotiation, right? So I think I'll reframe it in the manner where, are you getting enough management support? Are you getting career guidance? And are you getting career growth opportunity?
Mm.
Right? So for example, remember the other day we had a conversation with someone talking about telemarketers, right? Then they said that their top performing telemarketers, the top performing telemarketer is making triple amount of sales that anyone else is making, right?
Yep.
And they had to control him by
Not to work so much.
not to work so much. They had to stop him from working
Yeah.
because he if not he would have just arrived at office at 7:30, start making calls and will leave the latest.
Mm.
Now, my personal thought is this, right?
Mm.
Do you think this is fair to stop him from working?
Maybe he enjoys doing that, right?
Correct.
Uh,
But
uh,
they are stopping him to work simply because other people couldn't catch up because
Mm.
they don't want to start work so early and he is doing a lot of the work.
Mm.
Now, in my opinion, that's not good for the guy as well.
Yeah.
That's like imagine one day, right? You got one guy who want to work very hard, right? He's telling you, I don't mind, I don't mind. No,
Mm.
it's my personal choice. I want to work hard, right? Yeah. And then you're like, no, 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 please don't work hard because my other people who are not willing to work hard, you're gonna make them look bad.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I also don't think that that's very good lah. So
Mm.
depend on your situation lah.
Yep.
I like this question. How if our working environment is toxic but income quite high? Will you stick with that place? I think this is a very good work-life balance. I think this is a very valid work-life balance topic
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
your mental cannot balance immediately,
Mm.
right? If the workplace is toxic but the pay very high, will you stay?
How high first? If 1 month 1 million and it is toxic, you stay or don't stay?
Wow, 1 month 1 million.
Uh,
That's a very good question, man. 1 million ringgit.
I'll stay.
Toxic.
Yeah. But if
Depends on how toxic.
but if 1 month 5,000 7,000 and you
Okay.
go through that kind of
What kind of toxic first?
toxicity, politics, oh?
No, how toxic? How toxic?
How toxic? People stab you from behind. You know, you work already and then people take credit. You know, that kind of stuff.
Now, do I have
Yeah.
time to spend the 1 million? Or not? Do I have time to be present with my family?
So that those are the things that you need to what lah.
So if
Hey,
let's
but
say,
but you just need to tahan for 10 months, right? You got 10 million already.
oh, you already tahan for 10 months, eh? In this case, the assumption is, do you want to continue? Yeah.
I don't know. If 1 month 1 million, I tahan 10 months already, then maybe I chow
So
already.
eventually,
I
you
will
chow
chow
lah.
already.
So
chow already.
my personal thought,
Yeah.
I think we'll chow one generally.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Because you cannot tahan in the environment for long.
Because after that, you also realize that 1 million,
Correct.
You-
What for?
what for?
What for?
Yeah.
I earn enough already. Chow you all go and suffer.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll chow also.
Mm.
Yeah. Now, next one. Is there any other question? Does OT help you to grow? Personally, I don't think so. Depend on the person. If a person OT just for the sake of it, I don't think there's a point. Okay, there's a good statement there. Yeah. Do you think OT help you to grow? I don't think so, lah. Actually.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah. Okay. The other one. Okay, I would like to ask this. I plan to go to Japan to work. However, my parents don't agree with me. Work overseas. I'm 32 years old. I'm parent near 80. How do you balance this? What's your opinion on children going overseas to work, leaving parents behind? Okay. What do you think? If let's say your parents disagree that you go Japan and work, and then
What's the reason you want to go want to go Japan to work? Are you able to find similar opportunities back home and have the same type of treatment and compensation? I think these are some of the questions that you need to ask lah. If you say no, right, is it really no or you never go and find? Yeah. Because I had this same situation.
okay, come. Your parents didn't want you to go overseas. Is it?
Not really, but I can sense they would like us to stay lah.
You sense any?
I sense but I never bring this up for discussion. But anyway, before I could find the question, I already answered the question that I asked just now,
Which is?
which is I can find the same thing, same compensation back here. So I
Right.
decided to stay. So
Right.
I had the opportunity to actually go to Hong Kong.
Right.
Because we are headquarter, right? So I will go to a sister company, then obviously you get a quite high position. But the flip side of it is then you cannot come home that often, right? Then I asked myself, my current job situation is not to say that I cannot earn Hong Kong dollar. I can earn Hong Kong dollar from Malaysia, and I'll be measured same way anyway. So why do I need to station myself so far away,
Mm.
right? So that's one. And number two is that, do I be able to access the same kind of opportunity from here? I think it's even better. I can continue to live in Malaysia. I do business trip to Hong Kong instead of I stay in a shoebox Hong Kong apartment and suffer over there, right? So yeah, before I could sense whether my parents really want me to go or not, I already found the answer. So I decided to just
Right, right. So that's because the way you view it is that you know what you want to get out of your experience there,
correct,
which is money and
correct,
opportunity.
correct.
But for some people, they just want the weather.
Go holiday lah.
They want, okay, like some people just want a PR.
Those are different objectives. That's why I asked why you want to do it. Why do you want to go to Japan? You want to be a Japanese citizen? You want to have the passport or what? What is it that you're looking for?
Right, right. So that's the main question to answer.
Or if the girl, the boy you like is in Japan, then no choice lah. You that one memang you have to go Japan lah, right?
So you have to choose your mother or father or the girl.
Uh,
Now do you balance?
I don't know.
You want mother, father, or the
you want a
girl?
this is a harder thing to balance than work-life balance.
Oh yeah, that one very hard.
Yeah.
No, I look at it. He said that his parents is about 80 years old, right? Which means the parents is pretty old. I'm not saying anything, but that's quite old. Yeah. No, but today people live very long and can live to 100, right? So if he's gonna delay his plan, he may delay for another 10 years. By the time he's 40, then he likely won't go there and work, but go there for holiday. Yeah. My personal thought about this is I also got no answer because I'm just like you, the kind that stay in Malaysia. Yeah, but my sister-in-law is the kind that die want to go US. Yeah. So they would rather be a pauper in US also. They don't want to stay in Malaysia and work a high rank, right? Because the dream is I want to be a US citizen. Yeah, and they got it, right?
Yep.
My eldest sister is also in Japan. Yeah, because they are certain she believed that the work that she can do can bring a better impact there. My personal thought is this: you can choose whatever you want to choose, but ultimately it's just don't regret. Yeah, the reason being is because your parents are going to be around for 20 more years or maybe 30 more years, right? But you're going to live your life for another 60 more years.
Yep.
So that's double the amount. Yeah, and so you don't want to spend double the amount of time in regret just to be happy for the 30.
Yep.
Yeah, but the thing is this, right? Is to have that discussion with your parents to find the answer together. No. So how to find the balance? My personal opinion is to have that discussion and find the balance together. To answer this question is as good as you like a girl and then your mother don't really like the girl and they want to marry her, right? So it's pretty much that negotiation that you have to do, lor. Yeah. So that's for me.
There, here got reason, right? I just want to become Japanese citizen.
So you ask yourself, how important is that thing to you? Yeah, like, yeah, it comes out of that, right?
Correct.
I cannot understand that logic, but
then maybe you can bring your parents along, right?
it just comes out to yourself, right? Yeah. So what's the next one? Is there any more question? Oh, with the ringgit strengthening, what does it mean for us? So ringgit and USD also have to balance, right?
So okay, maybe you all can tell us at what price you think is a balance.
No, he's saying what it meant for us, lah. What it meant for us. Yeah. In my opinion, what does it mean for us? Honestly, directly related to your inflation consumer food price, I think very little, because I don't think the Wantan Mee Nanti is gonna reduce the price. I don't think Apple, who already increased their price, is gonna reduce back their price as well. So I think, how does it affect you? Not too much, aside from the fact that when you go for holiday, you can change cheaper USD if you go to the US. But on a long-term scale, on how it affects business and country, then yes lah, got effect Yeah, so you get a lot indirect effect. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's pretty much it. Okay. And now let's ask, what about further study for let's say 5 years? Married, kids soon, can work part time while studying. Is it a risk worth taking? Currently 30 years old. Hmm. Right. Yeah, what do you think about further study actually? Let's take this question as the last
Yeah.
question, right?
Can sure.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about furthering study at about 30
Okay.
years old?
First of all, I don't see this as a risk. I see this as an experience, right? You are currently 30 years old, you are married, kids coming soon, and probably you are thinking of you want to have the experience of furthering your studies, go back to your uni life once again before your kids come out, and then you really settle down and plan for the kids and all that. This is probably your last chance, man. So
Hmm.
if you really think that you want to do it, I, I think you should lah. I don't think this is a risk. Yeah.
Right. Maybe they didn't expense the savings of quite
Mm,
significant. Yeah.
mm,
Um, I would say that it depends on what you are studying, lor,
mm,
and it depends on why you are studying. Because like a lot of people talk about like they want to do MBA, right?
mm,
I think got good got bad one. It depends on the company that you're in and so on. Is it really that important,
mm,
right? But I think if you think about taking a period to do coding, I think yeah, go ahead, man. That's probably a good investment.
mm,
That's my personal opinion when it comes to that, lah. Uh, so I would say that if your whole perspective is just to gain knowledge, maybe it's worth it. But if let's say you're thinking about this will help you to make more money, then you really have to ask yourself, is it worth it?
mm,
Because it may not. Yeah. Now, I think the last question here is quite worth answering.
mm.
Limsy Kid. Joining a smaller company that I like in terms of job scope and company mission versus joining a big MNC for career growth. What should I consider?
Mm.
Let's end with this.
Okay. Uh,
So you were in RHB.
yeah.
I started off in Genting Group.
Yes.
So both of us started in big company.
Mm,
Today we end up owning our own company.
mm.
Yeah, so we get a taste of both sides,
Right.
right? So what are your thoughts?
But it's very different. I'm answering this from an employee perspective.
Yeah,
If
true.
today I'm still an employee, right, I will still join a big corporate MNC for career growth.
Mm.
Uh,
Why small company no career growth?
small company, mm, how do I put it? Okay, because when you are in big companies, then you would naturally deal with a wider scope of people. Okay,
Is
and
it?
yes,
Okay.
generally. While I give you one very simple reason. Let's say you're a very small company.
Mm.
In order for you to access Google to become your customer, it's quite a far fetch for you because they will likely say, hey, you're so small only, why not you park under the agency, this agency, and then from there, I'll give you job and all that.
What if I'm a small company that services Google directly?
Can, but far fetch, right? Then Google will say, hey, I already engaged this supplier and they do everything for me already. Yeah, I may see your service interesting, but I cannot appoint you anyway. So why not you go through the agency and then just bill them one big lump sum, and then you just work with them. But my point is, if you work in big company, chances are they already have access to all this network, and then your work is to deal with those networks of people. So it opened the chance for you to go and explore straight away directly to all this how to say the big boys.
Mm.
Yeah, and then in terms of career growth, and then most of the time is that, hey, I like you, I think you value add to my business. Why not you come over and join me instead? I give you a better package.
Mm.
So from employees' perspective, yes, I would join a bigger corporation for my career growth.
Right,
Mm.
right.
Now
I
yourself.
I I
I,
would not entirely agree,
mm,
simply because I have no context of what is the smaller company.
mm,
Yeah. So if let's say today I'm an AI company that actually builds a particular software for all fang companies,
mm-hmm,
but just that I have 10 people,
mm,
I have direct access. Right.
mm,
So It kind of comes down to what's the role of the company, right?
Mm.
That's firstly,
Mm.
but that is definitely one thing to consider.
Mm.
If let's say like I think this kind of thing applies very much in banking. It applies very much in like let's say media agencies as well in
Mm-hmm.
that sense, where let's say you want to become a media planner,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or something like that.
Mm.
Uh, I but if let's say you are editor or those, then no.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of depends where you are at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would say that the first thing to actually ask yourself is that if you're going to be working in the MNC, are you going to be happy because of the job scope given? That's number one. Number two, depend on what kind of MNC, because certain MNC the work scope is very streamlined. Sometimes it's so streamlined that you thought you are you are gonna be meeting a lot of people, but no, you won't be meeting people. For example, there's a higher chance for our campaign manager to meet the CEO of a bank
Mm-hmm.
than the campaign manager in a big media company to meet the CEO of a bank. Do you think so?
Mm.
Yeah. My editor also likely have a chance to meet the CEO of the bank.
Mm. Fair.
Y-
Our
y-
videographer every week see me
Yeah,
CEO of the bank.
correct. Our social media
Yeah.
content person
Fair. Uh-huh.
may end up meeting the CEO of the bank and discuss content with the person.
Yeah.
But if you are in a big agency, you
Mm.
may not have that opportunity
Mm-hmm.
uh, unless you are the salesperson.
Mm.
So it really comes down to the role and the particular job scope. What
Mm.
is the exposure like? Okay. Then number two is this. I think that when it comes to big corporation and MNCs, you generally have a very specific growth of career that is already charted out,
Yep.
unless you are very exceptional.
Yep. True.
Yeah. And because within a MNC, there's maybe 50 people fighting for the same role,
Mm.
but when you come to a smaller company, there's only 3 people fighting for the same role. So the chances of you outperforming is way higher.
Mm.
Because of that, you have also opportunity to take on roles that will never be given to you, and therefore for you to get promoted is much better. So
Mm.
to give an example, right? There was once this person that I know. She's from Cambridge.
Mm.
Okay, she worked in Accenture's strategy department in Accenture.
Mm.
So I asked the person, why don't you go and work in BCG or Bain? Because the pay is such a big difference, you know. And Bain is so much more prestigious.
Mm.
And it's not like you didn't get an offer, you got an offer.
Right.
You know what the person told me? If I go into Bain, I take a stone and throw, everyone is Cambridge.
Mm.
But if I go Accenture, not everyone is Cambridge.
Mm.
And I am probably one of the best in Accenture. So by the time I move up my career, I can probably be one of the youngest directors. And by then, if I move to Bain, I'm still going to be a director. But
Mm.
if I start in Bain, by this age, I'll likely end up still a senior or at a managerial level.
But that's with the assumption that this fella plans to stay in Bain for a very very long time lah. He or she doesn't plan to
Yeah lah, yeah lah.
like climb that kind.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Right.
So my
So
point is that do you want to be the big fish in the small
more
pond
point of the
or small fish in the big pond?
pond.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, you can also argue that hey, if I'm a senior analyst in Bain,
Yeah.
I can go over to corporate and I'll be hired. But we know how it mostly end up lah.
Correct.
Let's put it this way lah. We have seen a lot of
Mm.
people end up hiring senior analysts from Bain and so on. And at the end of the day, when they're in corporate, they can't perform because
Mm.
they have no execution background at all.
Mm. Correct.
They only know how to present a
Correct.
slide. It's not that they are not smart. They're so smart. It's
Mm.
just that when it comes to experience of execution, they lack that sometimes because they have not run a company before.
One point to put forth here is also that it is easier to shine in a smaller organization because whatever you do is being seen by everybody.
Mm.
When you're in a big organization, right, you may be doing wonders, but because you are just part of the very big group,
Yes,
it's very hard to see what you're doing down there.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So I have to say that the consideration here in my case here will be that if you think you're really so smart and the best, like really, really the best of the best of the best,
Mm.
then I think going to MNC is actually a great thing because you're likely stand out.
Mm.
But if you're like me at that, I'm not I'm not the smartest guy in the room. So I feel like choosing my battlefield is quite important.
Mm.
Yeah, that's why even in media also we end up doing financial media, right?
Not the mainstream
Not the
media.
mainstream media, because we go there very hard to fight. We're not handsome. We are not like very entertaining our lives.
uh,
Yeah, our story also not that great. Right?
Anyway,
So choose our battlefield.
yeah.
What we are good at. Yeah. So that's all about it for me.
Yep.
Any last thing you want to share with the audience before you end tonight?
No, man. I hope you guys enjoy tonight's show. If you have more things that you would like to share with us about work-life balance, you can continue to DM us on our social media and all that. We will continue to take them. If not, then we will see you guys next week, same time, same place.
All right. Thank you very much. See you. Good
Good night.
night.